Yo, what are you doing right now? We are going to get real about men's issues, who Jesus is, and who we are as men in Christ. We're going to hear Trey, Jeremy, Michael, and Brad break it down. These guys call themselves the Cussin Christians. All right, guys, what is going on?
All four of us in one room.
Yeah.
We love Jeremy France, and he's a good man, but this is the chemistry, man. This is the good stuff.
Absolutely.
How come you guys don't bite on anybody else when they're gone? It's only me.
Yeah, we have some fun with you, man. Oh, gosh.
Easy target, low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, you are so low-hanging.
His low-hanging fruit of the spirit.
I had that second and a half of my life today that slowed down, and it seemed like I was in the Matrix.
Ooh.
As my dad and I were on 192 right in front of Sam's, and as we banged around amongst four cars in a multi-car accident at 1 o'clock today, just 4 hours ago. And Dad and I were just kind of, we're fine. You know, Dad's car, there were two cars that were messed up and two people going to the hospital. But we actually prayed over the guy when I went out there and saw him. And he was a little older and confused, the one that actually was at fault.
Can I pray over you, jackass?
And but he was really confused. You could tell the shock of it and everything.
Yeah.
And I felt sorry for him. But Dad and I were sitting there, and we kind of looked at each other and went, that seemed like it was 10 seconds, but it was actually about a second and a half.
Wow.
How everything just kind of slowed down. I remember bracing, like, here it comes, I'm going to feel it. And we felt it. It wasn't as bad as what we thought, and the car's got damage to it. But
Were you like those National Institute of Highway Safety dummies, you know, where they go flop and they got the little X's and O's on their head where they make contact and stuff?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Did you tell the guy about MPACT when you prayed for him?
no.
Okay, impact.org.
I just said, you all right, Nick? Let's pray. I just want to make sure you're okay. And
Let me give you a wristband on your below your wrist.
we'll give you a wristband to go. But I've never been in a car wreck like that in my life.
Yeah.
50-something years.
Wow.
I mean, I've been in one little bitty where I touched somebody's back end.
Then you ran away?
No, I pulled over, made sure I didn't do any damage to their car, and it did a little damage to mine. But this one was like the front of a car was ripped off, and lady was having chest pains from panicking over it, and pouring down rain, and east and westbound on 192 closed. So we were those people that closed the road for a couple hours.
That's why you always leave a note when you hit somebody in the parking lot. Hey, I hit your car and drove away.
Yeah. just want to
let you know.
Well, what stunk was we're sitting there, and of course the paramedics come. Do you need medical attention? We said no. You need to sign this release for us to leave. I said okay. It's pouring down rain. Then the policeman comes and gets our driver's license. And so we were held hostage until he was. And one of the cars involved was an out-of-state car, so it took a little longer to run everything. And you know about that stuff, Michael. And so anyway, I've never been in a car wreck like that. And my dad and I were just kind of joking about it. Like, if I'm going to spend a second and a half in the Matrix, I'd rather do it with. There's no one I'd rather do it than you. Huh?
That's not cool.
Not as cool as the Matrix.
Cool at all. No.
Bummer, man.
I think at one time I wrecked every car I owned, and I was like, I had a need for speed.
Well, y'all know I don't have a need for speed. You've ridden with me.
Yeah, you're safe. We know why you haven't been in accidents. That's for sure.
You drive like a much more mature person.
Yeah.
And I wasn't driving. It was my dad driving today, so I was a passenger.
Oh, man.
Another day in the life in Florida with the rains coming through.
And for an hour and they're gone.
I love it. Cools down.
We don't get it in Merritt Island. We'll see them across the river. It'll never come across the river.
You got a natural boundary.
Yeah. Yeah, the something about the river. The river's like a mile wide, so I think the cooler air above the river probably keeps it from building and coming over there. And we'll have it a mile north of us, and our spot will be bone dry.
There's something about Merritt Island, Cape Canaveral too, with the hurricanes.
Yeah, I've always heard that about Cape Canaveral, how it pokes out a little bit, and it's like a deterrent for hurricanes.
Yeah, like NASA put it there because of that or something.
Maybe. I've heard that.
Because even Matthew, when it came through a few years ago, if you remember, they wobble, and it was coming straight at us, and then just wobbled out.
Decided
and
to do
it avoided Brad. And that's probably because he's
such a prayer warrior.
I know.
That was it. If that thing had stayed on course, we would have been underwater. Like they were predicting like a 12-foot storm surge.
What floor were you on?
We're bottom level. We're just south of the pier. We're about 5 condos south of the pier, bottom level. You walk about 200 yards out, you're in the water.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would have been flooded for sure. And that thing went out at the last second. It went like 30 miles out into the ocean. We're like, whew.
You guys weren't in the condo, were you?
No, we went to Orlando for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a serious one.
Yep,
You
it was.
got some meteorological skills over there, man.
Sure.
That Hurricane Matthew just went, you know what? I bet Brad's wanting to be boarding today, so I'm not going to go in and jack with him.
Yeah.
Matthew was what? Was that the 5 years ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the one that Ashley was late to deliver Corbin.
That was a lot
And
of rain.
the pressure from the hurricane, we actually finally got induced. And I was like, listen, we got to get you in. This hurricane comes in.
The safest place to be is in the
have
hospital.
to be in the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not delivering this baby at the house. And of course, we get her in, and come to find out, she actually had gone into labor that morning, didn't know it.
Wow.
And they said it's probably because of the hurricane. So we have the baby, pops out, boom. My butt's headed back to Vieira from being downtown Melbourne to like board up houses. So because I had my house, my dad's house, and my in-laws' house. So and then I have a newborn baby headed home. So I got to figure out like what am I going to do with this thing? That if like on one hand it's like you want it to come out and like you want to get like be at home. The other hand you're like kind of want everybody in the hospital because it's safer. Sure. But then we find out the hospital is only rated to category 3. This is category 5. So I'd rather take the chances with my house.
Exactly.
So, oh yeah, it was
These are the conversations us Floridians have every year this time of year.
and people wonder why we don't get that upset about it.
We
It's 'cause
don't.
I have like 2 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah,
It's
you see a little dot out there. You're waiting for it's like a circle of red. Then you're waiting for it to. As soon as they fill it in and it's all red, then you're going, okay, now I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, if I wasn't such a procrastinator, I could have had the storm things on the week before.
We talked about that last week.
yeah.
You're the guy going to Home Depot the day before.
I've been that guy.
Yes, you have.
I've been the moron. But it's funny because Cocoa Beach, everything will shut down. It's like a disaster movie. Like people are running to and from their cars at the gas station. Everything's shut down, but the bars are still open. Like we drove back and the power was out everywhere, but there was this one bar on A1A that was open and it was packed. So there's those grizzled old people that had survived before.
Let's do it.
I'm not moving. I'm not leaving for nothing.
Nope.
And they're over there hanging out at the bar while the power's out everywhere. Everywhere else. It's
entire
surreal.
islands got leveled, and those people were hanging out on the
That's what I'm
island.
telling you, man. See, that's the island life.
Hey.
It's just good to be back. I know we took a week off. I did a little vacay. There's something on my heart from the vacation that I wanted to talk about today. So, Donna and I planned and we saved to go on a little trip, right? And it was like this little all-inclusive resort. We're going to get away from the job, get away from the hustle and bustle and the stress and anxieties of the world.
Little 3-hour tour.
A little 3-hour tour, right?
Take all your money with you.
And all my fancy clothes, so I could wear them.
That's the most prepared 3-hour tour in history.
Yeah. Why didn't Gilligan and the skipper have different clothes the whole show? Everybody else wore
Because they were
different
there
clothes.
for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
Should have been nothing but coconuts and palm leaves, and they got
we
prom dresses.
Yep.
the fancy mirrors in the rooms, in the huts. And,
Sorry, so you're vacation.
So we get off the plane, all right, and this is first world problems, all right. But it just hit me, all right. My wife is very busy, very driven. She worked her tail off to get everything ready before we got on the plane to fly out, and she had a couple of deals that were kind of brewing. But hey, I got everything squared away. I can batten down the hatches for 4 or 5 days, and let's just get away and disengage and just check out. So you get off the plane in Cancun. I just say where we went. And, of course, it's chaos when you get off the plane. Everyone's, like, in your face. You want to ride, you want to ride, you want this excursion, you want that excursion. So you're getting off the plane, and you're already going, holy cow, I'm all tensed up. Then get in the shuttle, and we drive down. And we get to the hotel, check in. This resort is gorgeous. It's really low key. Got 5 restaurants. It's really nice. Adults only, so you don't hear screaming kids. And nothing wrong with screaming kids, but I'm kind of past that, right? And get up the first morning, go down to get a beach chair about 10 o'clock. All the chairs are taken. Okay. And then someone says, you need to get down here about sunrise and stake your claim to the beach chairs or the pool chairs. Okay, well, there's something I wasn't
7
planning on
o'clock
doing.
in the morning.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's
Crazy.
vacation. Who's getting up at 7?
It's vacation,
I'd be
right?
up.
And
Were you wearing your banana hammock?
yes.
I bet you could have made room that way.
Yeah.
Everybody just clears out.
Yeah.
Look at that dude.
And it was like, okay, now I got to set the alarm to get up at sunrise to go out and put a towel on a chair to save my place. We're going to have a place to sit. So I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it was, had to have a reservation, or you had to wear this to get into a place to eat. Now, these are first world problems. I get it. And then all of a sudden, Donna's phone starts ringing. So she's got clients that are, that are really going, they're nervous. They're buying new homes and everything else. So she's not relaxing. I'm not relaxing because I can't get my beach chair, and I got to get in line to do things. We spent 5 days in this tropical paradise, and the first 3 of it, I couldn't be still. I couldn't just relax. And I went out of the country trying to relax, trying to just chill, and we couldn't disengage from just life. And today you have to be at access 100% of the time, 24/7. If they don't call you, they're going to call somebody else to get their business done. And the next to last day, we met this couple from Sacramento, and they were believers. In fact, it was crazy because I got up sunrise and I went and staked my claim, and he was at this chair next to me, and I had the MPACT shirt on, and he said, "Tell me about what's that about?" And I told him. He goes, "Oh, well, we're youth pastors and
cool.
at a church in Sacramento." And so we had this wonderful conversation, and he was really laid back, and I needed somebody that was laid back, not getting into the hustle and bustle of stuff. And we spent 2 days with Ryan and Jennifer from Sacramento, California, and
nice.
I'm going to tell them that we gave them a shout out. I'm sorry for the long intro, but guys, when are we just still anymore? When are we just being still, taking that walk with the Lord? I talked to one of our brothers this morning, and he listened to you talking on a previous show about your walk with the Lord, when you take a walk to be alone with the Lord. Mm-hmm. And he said, I was so inspired by that because I never do that. Even when I'm studying the Word, it's like I've got an agenda and I got to get through something. And how many times do I just say, unplug, don't take anything with me, go walk, and just start talking to Him? Why don't we be still more? I go on vacation and spend a little bit of money to go on a vacation, and I can't even relax on my own vacation.
Because you don't choose to.
Oh, you didn't just do that.
I'm serious, because that was me, bro. When I would take vacation, my laptop was always on, my phone was always on. I was getting calls from this, that, and everything. I was handling stuff while I was on vacation. Never had a chance to decompress. Over the last 2, maybe 3 years, I shut it down, and I put a voicemail on, and I'm not available. We've got managers that can handle that. And this last vacation, we were gone for 2 weeks. The last 3 days were just crazy up until I was leaving. But on Friday, when I shut the laptop off and I put my voicemail on that I'm not available till the 25th or whatever it was, 18th, I'm sorry. And I was done. I didn't answer. I didn't look. I didn't do anything.
Was your stomach flipping on the inside because you're going through the day going, okay, I wonder what's waiting on me. I wonder who called me. I'm going to check that voicemail real quick.
No, because I physically pulled myself out of that situation because I wanted to have a nice vacation. And so you have to choose to do that. I think that we are being driven by Satan to be busy. To take our focus.
And we had we talked about busyness 20 episodes ago, and that's so true. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wanted to flip that on. I just started thinking when I was sitting there stressing out about getting a beach chair. It's 6:30 in the morning. The sun's coming up, and half of them are already taken. I'm like, people are setting their alarm to go down and stake their claim, and they're going back to bed.
I do. I take a couple of those beach chairs up to the room. There you go. And after I got done at the bar that evening, I'd go set them out.
Just carry it down with you in the morning.
you know they're already cleaned up at that point.
But think about the people that aren't able to go on a vacation. I mean, that's a tough thing to worry about it, whether my beach chair is going to have somebody in it. But not to bust your balls about that. It's the fact that even people that aren't able to get away still you have to set a time.
How can you be still even when you don't? I mean, you're right.
Because everything. I mean, when you think about it, people that can't afford a vacation, they're probably think about everything, car payment, house payment, apartment, whatever, food, clothing for their kids. They can't be still. It's busyness. And how many jobs do they have? Maybe 2, 3, something like that. I don't know. We are into the point of busyness taking us away from what our goal is with the relationship with the Father, and you just can't do it. You have to choose.
Well, I mean, I struggle with that a lot. I mean, I'm taking my very first vacation ever in 2 weeks. I've never taken a week's vacations in my entire work career.
Really?
Like,
You gonna shut stuff off?
I'm going to do my best. Yeah. I get it.
You're getting the eyebrow. You're getting the eyebrow.
I know. Well, it's funny because I talked to my boss about it. He just got back from Italy. He was on a trip, and I said, "Listen," I was like, you hired me for a reason. You haven't had a vacation in your whole career. Like, you're always answering phones. Like, last trip you went on, like, you came back miserable because you would have probably just been better off at work. I was like, let me take care of it. I was like, let me just do that. So he told me, he goes, hey, you're going to take your time now. So we kind of talked about it ahead of time, because in our business, minutes matter. So, like, you just get wired to be so fast paced and always on and on.
That's
and
what my
on.
wife is. She reacts immediately.
Yep.
And so the phone call comes, even though we're 2,000 miles away. It's like, got to take care of it now.
Yep.
So, Jeremy, you're going to be covered when you're gone.
I'm preemptively getting it covered now.
That's cool.
But
because I'm
the
trying to
enemy's,
do what you said.
The enemy's going to come against that, and he's going to be like, dude, no, they can't do it without you.
Exactly.
He's going to be
You're too
whispering in.
valuable, Jeremy.
He told me for years that, if you're gone, like, you'll end up fired when you come back. I had a legitimate fear of taking vacation. So I would never take more than a 3-day weekend or an extra day on and make it a 4-day weekend.
Right.
That's the most I've ever taken in 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I worked in corporate America a few years back. I was taking a trip, an anniversary trip or something. I can't remember what it was. And I had this brand new regional director that was with me. And he said, okay, you flying out tomorrow? I said, yep. And he goes, so you taking your laptop? I said, nope. He goes, well, it's expected for you to take your laptop and check your email every day and your voicemail every day. And I never forget that. And this is the same guy that got promoted and went on to VP, and someone asked him, hey, how did you get to where you are? And he says, I spend more time at this office than I do with my own family. That's how much I love this company. I'm going, dude, we are wired different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And which one of his kids is a serial killer?
I'm not sure which one yet.
Well, that's what I struggle with. I mean, I was talking to a girl today. I actually had 2 interviews today, and they asked me, because they read my profile. They're like, "How did you get to where you're at in the amount of time you got there?" And I tell them, I'm like, "Listen, I was in the office at 6:30 in the morning, and if somebody got in at 6:30, then I got in at 6, and I stayed until every single person left, and then I would stay an extra half hour just to make sure that I worked that much more than everyone in the office. Mm-hmm. I relocated, separated from friends, family. Like, we did it for years."
Right.
And because we've lived in Vieira longer than we lived anywhere else in my entire career. And I wouldn't buy a house until 2 years ago because I wouldn't tie myself to Vieira because I wanted the option to move for work. And then finally these guys started growing up, and it was one of those things where now my biggest fear is that I'll have to leave. And I'm positioning myself in a way now to stay. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I figured out what's important.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why we're taking a vacation this year. Like, I'm consciously trying to do something different because I climb the corporate ladder pretty quick, and I'm pretty good at what I do. But at the end of the day, I've just seen so many people come and go so quickly. Right. And do I want to be the guy that's 45 years old, never had a vacation with his kids, and they're in high school? Like, that sucks. I will tell you, when I'm at my best state with God, what I'm doing is I'm getting up early. Yeah. I'm not staying up too late. I'm getting physically in better shape, which I'm working on now. I'm meditating, I'm praying, and I'm actually taking the time to be in that meditative prayer, and it's being still at that point. And when I come out of it, I always feel good. Yeah. And what's funny about it is the more you do it and intentionally be still, there's times in my day now that I'll find there's a 15-minute window, and then it'll just dawn on me, hey, you got 15 minutes. And then I'll just start doing it again, right in that 15 minutes, just truly being still and finding now where God is. And you just, all of a sudden, it's like this peace just comes over my day, and my anxiety in my chest goes away, and all those things. Yeah. And so it's super important. You have to practice it. That's the thing. You got to practice it.
What were we made for?
Relationship. So when you're in a relationship,
communion with Him.
If you're in communion with Him, is that where you're going?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we were made for. Unfortunately, the fall caused that to be skewed in a huge way, but that's our whole reason for being here as human beings, is our relationship with the Father. And Jesus realized that. Jesus realized how important it was to get away and chill and pray. And, he used to tell him all the time, I'm going off, man. I gotta go away and be with my father. And we need to recognize that more, because it'll be there when you get back, and somebody's gonna have the skills enough to handle something while you're gone, because you're only talking 5 days.
Yeah,
because you don't open that phone on the weekends, dude. Oh jeez.
I was on the golf course last Saturday for 2 hours of a 4-hour round on the phone.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm wired like that though. This is what's gonna be interesting in 2 weeks, because I've done the weekends, right? So I can get through the Friday, because then I have Saturday and Sunday. Real recently I did like a Thursday to the Sunday vacation, right? So I got through the 2 days. So now I know I can get through 2 days, which I got to tell you, I didn't necessarily know that, right? Yeah. And I've done the offshore fishing trips, and I used to do those purposely to get out of connection, because no one can reach me once I get offshore. And what's funny is every once in a while a cruise ship would come by, and I'd catch connection, and all my emails would come through. But and then I couldn't help but read them before I could have bed. But it's this. I get this pit of my stomach anxiety, like that lasts on Sunday. I get it on Sunday now, where I have to go get on my computer when everybody goes to bed and look through it and make sure that I'm prepared.
And there's no surprises waiting for you when you wake up in the morning.
Oh yeah.
But what if there's a surprise that Sunday night? Are you going to sleep?
I start fixing it. No, I don't sleep.
Oh, fix it up. Man.
No, I'll start doing the research so that I'm ready. Oh. Yeah, I won't sleep. That's why I've told you guys. That's why the drinking thing sometimes gets out of control in my life, because I have to figure out how to go to sleep, because I'll go 3 days without sleeping if I don't do something. Wow. Yeah.
Thanks for being transparent there, brother.
Oh no, it's a thing. Yeah.
For those that are listening, it's not like I take extravagant vacation, but we planned this one. It was just going to be the two of us. Not going to travel with any friends or anything. We're going to chill, unwind, just totally unplug, and boom, it just was a show that. And after 3 days, she was so stressed, I was getting stressed, and then
I almost wish you didn't go.
And it was like I could have stayed home and done this.
Right. Yeah.
And then I started Googling, because I'm fascinated. You go to an all-inclusive resort, right? And so you don't have to pay, basically I took tip money to tip the waiters and waitresses. I was very impressed by their staff. And then I just said, I wonder how much these people make. So I just did a run on average yearly salary in the Yucatan Peninsula for Mexico. The United States, we make over triple of what they make on a median income a year. The average salary was $16,000 a year. And I'm like, wow. It kind of hit me like, all right, Trey, you're really complaining about checking out and my first world issues that I've got compared to anything. I mean, I wonder where these guys are going home to at night, Sorry for the ramble on that, but it just kind of hit me like, all right, I'm going to enjoy this. And when we met this couple, Ryan and Jennifer, they settled me down. And they don't know it. They just said, man, Donnie, you're really busy. You're zipping around doing this. But by the time we started spending the last 48 hours just kind of hanging with them, I saw Donna's her stress level go down. Mine went down. And all of a sudden we're talking. Gave him a wristband. We gave each other a testimony, and I was actually still with another Christian in another country, which was really cool. But
that sounds like a God wink.
Yeah, it was a God wink. Us as guys, are we still enough? Do we? Jesus talks about being still. Let me be silent. Make me understand. Those conversations that you get by just walking on that beach alone, or taking that quiet time with Him. Be still. Know that I am God. I will be exalted among all the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
Create in me a clean heart, O Lord, and renew a right spirit within me. And I know that's a different way to look at that, but renew a right spirit within me. Are we renewing a right spirit in us on a daily basis, right? Or are we so into so much other garbage that we can't stop and listen and hear the voice of the Lord?
Are we so into other moments that do we struggle setting boundaries for ourselves and like letting other people know, I love y'all, but I'm off limits? Are we good at that? I mean, I'm horrible at making boundaries. I say yes to almost everybody, and that's the downfall of me. But
I'm good at making boundaries, except for when it comes to those kind of things. When it comes to work, like I'll set boundaries with people at work, as in like what our relationship can be and things like that. My family can suffer because of it, because I'll make that more of a priority. But anyway, but sometimes I'll let the work get inside my family life. But like I said, I'm kind of obsessive compulsive when it comes to certain things, and that's one of them. So
I just think we have to find, whether it's early in the morning, late at night. I mean, for me, early morning. I feel like the first 2 hours a day are the only time that's mine that I have any control over. Because once everybody else gets up, my time is not my own, and I'm flowing down the river and doing what has to be done. But the first hour or two, I've got, I go to the gym, I do my quiet time. I have that time to that's my time to be still and know. But like our pastor, he does it at night. He goes jogging at night, and that's his time. That's his solace. And I think if it's important enough to us, we can find that time during the day.
Right.
To do that, to get still.
It's interesting. I use the airplane. That's mine.
Yeah.
Yep. Because they really don't, especially if I don't
You don't
log
want to
in.
talk to anybody on either side of you. So
Damn right.
You've been talking to people
I put
all
my
week.
headphones in. I put my headphones in. Airplane mode. Like, just leave me alone.
Right.
My favorite time is to go out at night. My wife will be in bed, and my dog can hear the crack of the slider, and she's there. I'm like, she so wants to be with me on that chair outside, just listening and watching and being a part of whatever I'm doing. And that's the example that I think we should have towards our relationship with the Lord, wanting that time to be with Him, even if it's just sitting there and not saying a word, just contemplating, life and decompressing. And that's what I do. I love sitting out there and listening to the gators and the frogs, and for me, that's a perfect time. And I got a dog that loves spending time with me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds very peaceful.
I was talking to our brother Adam this morning, and inspired by what you said about taking that walk with God a while back on a previous podcast. And
I don't remember what I said.
we're gonna have to. We're over 40 podcasts now, dude, so it's getting hard to remember what we talked about.
It might have changed since then.
It might have. But he brought up the point while we were talking, outside the building this morning before we said goodbye. Sometimes when I get alone with the Bible and I'm reading, I have an agenda of I want to get through these next 3 chapters, and I'm not being still. I'm so focused on getting through. But if I just break away, shut down, take that walk on the beach or around the neighborhood, or that bike ride, and just have the worship music going, then all of a sudden, a lot of times I just reach out and say, I don't even know what to say right now. I just want to be with you. I got all this crap going on in my life. I don't even know how to handle it. I'm just going to talk it out. And by the time I'm done, I'm usually like, holy cow, there was something in Matthew chapter 8. I'm going to go look at that.
Exactly.
And boom, there's the answer. Isn't that crazy how it works?
Mm-hmm. Or you can look at a scripture and just, as you read it, ministers to your spirit, and you start thinking it just like a rock going down the hill of all the other things that can relate to that particular scripture. I mean, one of the shortest scriptures in the Bible is Jesus wept. Why did he weep? What was he weeping for? What do we weep for? So you just start thinking about stuff like that, and it puts a humanity on him as far as he was God, but he was also man. So he understands what we're going through, Trey. He understands that you needed to decompress and could. And I think sending this couple in was like...
Yeah, it was. I mean, Satan was like, okay, you think you're going to get away for a while? Yeah. You're not going to be still. Just look at this tropical paradise you're coming to.
And you got this ministry starting to work. I'm going to make it hard on you.
Right. And
you didn't know that all inclusive meant all stress also.
It
was all inclusive.
Did,
We're all at all.
We got stress for you. We got beach chairs.
Get
You got to
into the
clean.
Wi-Fi. Are you kidding me? The Wi-Fi sucks. I can't get into it.
Yeah.
Hotel Wi-Fi is tough.
It was slow, and I couldn't. When Donna's trying to send stuff out on my laptop, she doesn't use my laptop ever, so I had to get her logged into my laptop, and she's using her
Had to
desktop.
close all those browsers out.
Yeah.
All that Christian ministry music and all that.
All that I had to, but
you guys need to make a pact next time, man, that we are going to be here for each other, and we are going to vacation and not. That's tough.
It wasn't just one thing. It was just a whole conglomeration of several, and then that couple that God blessed us with from Sacramento, they were just a joy to be around, and they're really relaxed looking, and they've been there 10 days.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would get fidgety after 10 days.
Yeah, that was a bit
I
of a
don't
long
need 10 days alone with my wife. I can tell you that. We spent 4 the other day, and we were finished with each other on day 3. So if it wasn't for alcohol and good food, I don't know if we would have got much farther.
So just be still. You're very deliberate about your be still time.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not that regimented. My be still time, it'll come to me in a moment during the day where I'm listening to a certain song or whatever. I don't set aside. In the morning, I do a lot of reading and things and devotionals and stuff and writing and everything for social media and stuff. But just setting up that this next hour is just me. Mm-hmm. I don't do that. I don't plan it.
Right.
You're regimented about. What about you?
On the road, praise and worship for me is so important. I was listening to a Phil Wickham song. I just started crying because it just ministered to my soul. And that's when you let the cares of the world just go. You worship and you pray and it may have been only 5-10 minutes, but it just refreshed my soul tremendously.
You can have some awesome worship times in the car.
Windshield time's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah, that's probably, I'm struggling right now with that, to be honest with you.
Is the be still time?
Yeah, more and more. I think with the new company and there's all the pressure and stress and stuff like that, I think that this is a good conversation because I really hadn't thought about it a lot, to be honest with you. But now that I'm sitting here talking to you guys and I'm realizing probably how crazy I sound anyway. But
no.
On top of that, no sarcasm there. But yeah, I think I need to get more regimented about it. And something I need to work on.
We'll bombard you with a bunch of text messages reminding you to be still. And then I'll send you a Facebook post, and I'll call you and say, "Hey, dude, be still." After you read all this.
Are you being still today, Trey? Why are you up at
Text me back.
Why are you up at 6:30?
Tell you what, you guys keep those text chains going 5 o'clock in the morning. Crap, it comes through all the time. He's like, tell I work with a bunch of old men here.
Easy, cowboy.
He gets her up.
I know. Yeah.
Yep.
I used to. I don't get. My thing is, like I said, I have a hard time sleeping.
You think about Jesus the night before he was crucified in the garden, right? And you had John and Peter, and they were like leaning up against the tree, and he said, "Okay, you sit here and pray. I'm going to go be by myself." He came back, they're sacked out. How many times have you started praying at night and all of a sudden you wake up the next morning? Yep. That's what Peter and John were doing. And Jesus rebuked them. Are you kidding me? You can't even stay up to be alone with the Lord. You can't even stay up just to pray. That they're going, dude, we've been following you around all day. I'm tired,
Got our 50,000 steps in.
Yeah, got those 50,000 steps in.
Why do you think he rebuked them?
He just kind of called them out. Yeah. He was so troubled.
That's true.
He was troubled and stressed, and
he had a lot on his mind that day.
Well, I think about it. He could have had his two buds there, arms around him, being there with him, during that really difficult time. But they'd rather sleep.
That was his.
Well, he knew it was coming though. They didn't.
Yeah, and that was his amazing prayer to God. Take this from me, only if it's your will. I mean, he was really having that one-on-one moment. I'm not sure what to do. I know what I'm about to go through. I wish you would take this away from me. Sweat and blood, and all that. And that was kind of comforting for me, knowing there's so many times I'll go to God and I come to you a lot and I just ask you for stuff. So I don't even want to ask you for anything. I just be with me.
I caught myself doing that the other day. It was like 3 or 4 prayers in a row where I was just asking for me, and I was like, you know what? Actually, there's some people out there that need prayer too.
Yeah.
Let me think about somebody else for a minute.
Yeah. Well, Okay. So your be still time. Everybody's kind of hit on that. We like to listen to music. We like to the worship music inspires us to get away. We usually get motivated to get back into the Word when we're done, or something strikes us that we actually make an effort to look up what Jesus did, or what Paul said, or what Peter said. What else does being still mean to you?
I think sometimes going to church is a good place to be still. It's a safe place, a safe environment. I think sometimes we don't take advantage of sitting in church and just having our own thoughts. How
do you hear God's voice when there's so much
noise,
busyness, and noise around you? How do you? Oh, you don't have an lanai? Yeah, you do. You got a screen in an lanai, don't you?
Not yet. But
mosquitoes get you. But
Skeeters and gators, man. You got to watch out.
I'm going gator hunting in a couple weeks. I'm going to get even with those little boogers.
That's so cool.
Is that time?
I'll bring you guys some gator tail. Yeah, I miss that about fishing. I will say I haven't been fishing a lot this year, and typically I get that during those trips. Just even if it's a day trip, because once you get a couple miles offshore, just you in the water, and at 4 a.m. when you're heading out, there's lots of time to think. Nobody's really wanting to talk.
A time to tear, a time to sow, a time to keep silent, and a time to speak. Oh, guys, I appreciate y'all letting me vent a little bit on that. I was looking forward to being still, just because, and we'll get into this some other time, but just the stress and the anxieties of life. And we take on a lot here. We get programmed to be busy, to not be still, and to be on call, and to be totally accessible 100% of the time. I'll never forget the first time I had a big time boss in the consumer goods industry when he got the old BlackBerry, and he handed it to me in the bus as we were going from the hotel to whatever we were doing. I said, "What is that?" And he goes, "It's from Satan." And
he was right.
And if you get one of these, you're going to never go back, and you're going to curse yourself the day you accept one. He goes, "I'll let you write it off on your expense account, but get ready, because if you get it, I'm going to know I can touch you anytime I want." And that was like 2003.
Yeah.
And how true is that? I can be touched by anybody I want any time of day.
Oh, I think
That's
these
things
are
doing to our kids.
Oh, I mean, I've told you guys many times. Like technology's, I mean, I love it, but it's going to be the means of the end.
Oh, it's starting to divide us from within right now in a big way. Be still.
Good stuff,
Last
guys.
thought about being still. Go around the horn.
I'll be short. I'm going to do better.
You'll do better.
I'm going to do
I'm
better,
gonna hold you to it.
We'll pray for you.
and I'll try to pray for you guys too.
Send us a picture of you being still.
That's going to be on the website every day this week.
Yeah, really good.
So I'll just make sure I don't turn it on live, right?
Yes.
The Cussin Christians being still. I want snapshots we can put on the Facebook pages. But anyway, brother, if you're having trouble with that, man, we'd love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you on how you are still. Not your trouble being still, but how you are, because I would like to take a note or two. So check out the Brotherhood support page, and we would love to hear from you. You can shoot us a note off the website with anything that's going on in your life. And we've got a man that has experienced exactly what you're going through, whether it's money issues or addiction or porn or sex or just life and dealing with it, being a father. We got a group of men that we would love to listen, love to give their point of view and help you overcome.
Are we still doing the letters to self?
We are.
Okay.
The next one's going to be Michael, and that'll be next week, I think. So,
do we get any more from the
I just
listeners?
have one in the bank right now.
Okay.
I got
We'd love to
one
get
in the
those.
bank, and one. Someone sent me a text with theirs yesterday. He said, "Use what you want." He's going through a divorce and had some reflection on his life and mistakes he made. So I had to figure out how to incorporate it in. He sent a direct message via the social media piece.
Cool.
But also mark your calendars for September 16th. It's 8 weeks from today. Obviously,
football, baby.
College football will be in the middle of it. That's Friday night, though, so you won't have any conflict. We're going to have the Walking Free in Grace experience, Melbourne, Florida.
You guys did catch that meme I sent you the other day, right? The one where Jennifer Lopez had
Yeah,
6
whatever.
rings. The Cowboys have had 0 since
I'd
97.
already had 3 people send that to me, dude.
Of course, but I
Of
had
course.
to say it on air just to make sure everybody heard.
Yeah. By the way, that couple that I met on vacation, he remembers like I do where he was sitting the day that Montana hit Dwight Clark for the catch in the back of the end zone.
Yep.
And he was telling me about how he and his dad were jumping up and down and screaming and high-fiving. And I was telling him how I was jumping up and down and crying like a baby that happened. Because that changed the Cowboys for a while.
Oh, yeah.
That game.
Dude, that was at the end of the game. He was almost out of bounds. It was the last play of the game.
And Too Tall Jones was
in front of him.
right on Joe Montana.
And I thought, he's going out of bounds. It's over.
Yeah.
Cowboys going to the Super Bowl.
What did you guys expect from a Notre Dame quarterback?
get out.
Come on.
We're going to stop on that one.
Turn off Michael's mic.
Turn off Michael's mic, you Notre Dame homie. All right. Well, we're going to get out. We'll catch you next week. And just find a way to be still this week. Let us know how you're doing it. Let us know what your revelation is when you're still. Sometimes it's amazing when you're still what you learn. And we would love to hear from you on that. So,
I'm not able to give advice on the subject at the moment.
all right. Well, we'll wait.
You will.
With that said, we will catch you next week. I'm Trey.
I'm Michael.
I'm Brad.
I'm Jeremy.
We are the
Cussin Christians. It's amazing when you were in the opposite order. How it screws you out.
we went counterclockwise.
That was weird.
That was strange, man. My equilibrium was off.
Jeremy. I'm like,
This is Jeremy. And Jeremy.